Shakespeare's Histories, The Queen's Storm, Episode 5. During the minority of King Henry VI, Humphery, the Duke of Gloucester, held the government together as Lord Protector. But now that his wife has been found guilty of witchcraft and treason, he has fallen into disgrace, sending the court into a frenzy. Adding to the growing tensions, Henry and his wife Margaret still have yet to conceive a child, even though they are 2 years into their marriage. Without a clear line of succession and whispers of the king's brain sickness, public dissatisfaction grows. York, Winchester, Somerset, and Buckingham all claim descent from Henry's great-great-grandfather, Edward III, and these ambitious nobles seek to inch closer to the throne. Gloucester is summoned to attend a meeting of Parliament held at the Abbey at Bury St. Edmunds. The location is within Suffolk's base of power and purposefully far from Gloucester's popular support in London.
I muse my Lord of Gloucester is not come. 'Tis not his wont to be the hindmost man. Whate'er occasion keeps him from us now.
Can you not see, or will you not observe the strangeness of his altered countenance? With what a majesty he bears himself! First, note that he is near you in descent, and should you fall, he is the next will mount. By flattery hath he won the commons' hearts, and when he please to make commotion, 'tis to be feared they all will follow him. The reverent care I bear unto my lord made me collect these dangers in the duke. If it be fond, call it a woman's fear, which fear, if better reasons can supplant, I will subscribe, and say I wronged the duke. My lords of Suffolk, Buckingham, and York, disprove my allegation if you can, or else conclude my words effectual.
Well hath your highness seen into this duke. The Duchess, by his subordination upon my life, began her devilish practices. Smooth runs the water where the brook is deep, and in his simple show he harbors treason. The fox barks not when he would steal the lamb. No, no, my sovereign. Gloucester is a man unsounded yet, and full of deep deceit.
Did he not, contrary to form of law, devise strange deaths for small offences done?
And did he not, in his protectorship, levy great sums of money through the realm for soldiers' pay in France, and never sent it? By means whereof the towns each day revolted.
Tut, these are petty faults, to faults unknown, which time will bring to light, and smooth Duke Humphery.
My lords, at once. The care you have of us to mow down thorns that would annoy our foot is worthy praise, but shall I speak my conscience? Our kinsman Gloucester is as innocent from meaning treason to our royal person as is the sucking lamb or harmless dove. The Duke is virtuous, mild, and too well given to dream on evil or to work my downfall.
Ah, what's more dangerous than this fond defiance? Seems he a dove? His feathers are but borrowed, for he's disposed as the hateful raven. Take heed, my lord. The welfare of us all hangs on the cutting short that fraudful man.
All health unto my gracious sovereign.
Welcome, Lady Somerset. What news from France?
That all your interest in those territories is utterly bereft you. All is lost.
Cold news, Somerset. But God's will be done.
Cold news for me, for I had hope of France as firmly as I hope for fertile England.
All happiness unto my lord the king. Pardon, my liege, that I have stayed so long.
Nay, Gloucester, know that thou art come too soon, unless thou wert more loyal than thou art. I do arrest you in his highness' name, and here commit you to my lord Cardinal, to keep until your further time of trial.
My lord of Gloucester, 'tis my special hope that you will clear yourself from all suspense. My conscience tells me you are innocent.
Oh, gracious lord. These days are dangerous. Virtue is choked with foul ambition, and equity exiled your highness' land. I know their complot is to have my life. Beaufort's red, sparkling eyes blab his heart's malice, and Suffolk's cloudy brow his stormy hate. Sharp Buckingham unburdens with her tongue the envious load that lies upon her heart, and dogged York, that reaches at the moon by false accuse, doth level at my life. And you, my sovereign lady, with the rest, causeless have laid disgraces on my head, and with your best endeavour have stirred up my leafest liege to be mine enemy. Aye, all of you have laid your heads together, and all to make away my guiltless life. The ancient proverb will be well effected. A staff is quickly found to beat a dog.
My liege, his railing is intolerable. Sirs, take away the Duke and guard him sure.
Thus King Henry throws away his crutch before his legs be firm to bear his body. Thus is the shepherd beaten from thy side, and wolves are gnarling who shall gnaw thee first. Ah, that my fear were false, that it were. For good King Henry, thy decay I fear.
My lords, what to your wisdom seemeth best, do or undo as if ourself were here.
What, will your highness leave the Parliament?
Aye, Margaret. My heart is drowned with grief, whose flood begins to flow within mine eyes. Uncle Humphery, in thy face I see the map of honor, truth, and loyalty. What lowering star now envies thy estate, that these great lords and Margaret, our queen, do seek subversion of thy harmless life? Thou never didst them wrong, nor no one wrong. And as the butcher takes away the calf, and binds the wretch, and beats it when it's strange, bearing it to the bloody slaughterhouse, even so remorseless have they borne him hence.
Free, lords. Cold snow melts with the sun's hot beams. Henry, my lord, is cold in great affairs, too full of foolish pity, and Gloucester's show beguiles him as the mournful crocodile with sorrow snares relenting passengers. Believe me, lords, were none more wise than I, and yet herein I judge mine own wit good, this Gloucester should be quickly rid the world, to rid us from the fear we have of him.
'Tis meet he be condemned by course of law.
The king will labor still to save his life. The commons haply rise to save his life. And yet we have but trivial argument, more than mistrust, that shows him worthy death.
So that by this you would not have him die.
York, no man alive so fain as I.
'Tis York that hath more reason for his death. But my lord Cardinal, and you, my lord of Suffolk, say as you think, and speak it from your souls. Were it not all one an empty eagle were set to guard the chicken from a hungry kite, has placed Duke Humphery for the king's protector?
So the poor chicken should be sure of death.
Madam, 'tis true. And were it not madness, then, to make the fox surveyor of the fold? No. Let him die in that he is a fox, by nature proved an enemy to the flock, before his chaps be stained with crimson blood.
Thrice noble Suffolk, 'tis resolutely spoke.
Say but the word, and I will be his priest.
Say you consent, and censure well the deed, and I'll provide his executioner. I tender so the safety of my liege.
Here's my hand. The deed is worthy doing.
And so say I.
And now we three have spoke it. It skills not greatly who impugns our doom.
Great lords, from Ireland am I come amain to signify that rebels there are up, and put the Englishmen unto the sword. Send succors, lords, and stop the rage betime before the wound do grow incurable.
A breach that craves a quick expedient stop. What counsel give you in this weighty cause?
That Somerset be sent as regent thither. 'Tis meet that lucky ruler be employed. Witness the fortune she hath had in France.
If York, with all his far-fetched policy, had been the regent there instead of me, he never would have stayed in France so long.
No, not to lose it all as thou hast done.
No more, good York. Sweet Somerset, be still. Thy fortune, York, hadst thou been regent there, might happily have proved far worse than hers.
What? Worse than naught? Nay, then, a shame take all.
And in the number thee that wishest shame.
My lord of York, try what your fortune is. To Ireland will you lead a band of troops collected choicely from each county sum, and try your hap against the Irishmen?
I will, my lord, so please his majesty.
Our authority is his consent, and what we do establish he confirms.
Then, noble York, take thou this task in hand.
I am content. Provide me soldiers, lords, whiles I take order for mine own affairs.
Charge Lord York that I will see performed. But now return we to the false Duke Humphery.
No more of him, for I will deal with him, that henceforth he shall trouble us no more. and so break off. The day is almost spent. Lord Suffolk, you and I must talk of that event.
My Lord of Suffolk, within 14 days at Bristol I expect my soldiers, for there I'll ship them all for Ireland.
I'll see it truly done, my Lord of York.
Well, nobles, well, 'tis politically done, to send me packing with an host of men. 'Twas men I lacked, and you will give them me. I take it kindly, yet be well assured you put sharp weapons in a madman's hands. Whilst I in Ireland nourish a mighty band, I will stir up in England some dark storm shall blow 10,000 souls to heaven or hell, and this fell tempest shall not cease to rage until the golden circuit on my head do calm the fury of this mad-bred flaw. I have seduced a headstrong Kentishman, John Cade of Ashford, to make commotion, as full well he can, under the title of John Mortimer. This devil here shall be my substitute for that John Mortimer which now is dead. In face, in gait, in speech he doth resemble. By this I shall perceive the commons' mind, how they affect the house and claim of York. Say he be taken, racked, and tortured. I know no pain they can inflict upon him will make him say I moved him to those arms. Say that he thrive, as 'tis great like he will. Why then from Ireland come I with my strength, and reap the harvest which that rascal sowed. For Humphery being dead, as he shall be, and Henry put apart, the next for me.
Run to my Lord of Suffolk. Let him know we have dispatched the Duke as he commanded.
Oh, that it were to do! What have we done? Didst ever hear a man so penitent?
Here comes my lord.
Now, sirs, have you dispatched this thing?
Aye, my good lord. He's dead.
Why, that's well said. Have you laid fair the bed? Is all things well, according as I gave directions?
'Tis, my good lord.
Away. Be gone!
Go, call our uncle to our presence straight. Say we intend to try his grace today if he be guilty, as 'tis published.
I'll call him presently, my noble lord.
Lords, take your places, and I pray you all, proceed no straighter gainst our uncle Gloucester than from true evidence of good esteem he be approved in practice culpable.
God forbid any malice should prevail that faultless may condemn a nobleman. Pray God he may acquit him of suspicion.
I thank thee, Meg. These words content me much. How now? Why look'st thou pale? Why tremblest thou? Where is our uncle? What's the matter, Suffolk?
Dead in his bed, my lord. Gloucester is dead.
Mary God forfend.
God's secret judgment. I did dream tonight the Duke was dumb and could not speak a word.
How fares my lord? Help, lords, the king is
Rear
dead!
up his body. Wring him by the
Run,
nose.
go, help, help! Oh, Henry, ope thine eyes!
Revive again, madam, be patient.
Oh, heavenly God!
How fares my gracious lord?
Comfort, my sovereign, gracious Henry, comfort!
What doth my lord of Suffolk comfort me? Hide not thy poison with such sugared words. Lay not thy hands on me. Forbear, I say! Thou baleful messenger, out of my sight.
Why do you rate my lord of Suffolk thus? Although the Duke was enemy to him, yet he most Christian-like laments his death. And for myself, foe as he was to me, what know I how the world may deem of me? For it is known we were but hollow friends. It may be judged I made the Duke away. So shall my name with slander's tongue be wounded, and princes' courts be filled with my reproach. This get I by his death. I me unhappy, to be a queen and crowned with infamy.
Woe is me for Gloucester, wretched man.
Be woe for me more wretched than he is. Why dost thou turn away and hide thy face? I am no loathsome leper, look on me! Is all thy comfort shut in Gloucester's tomb? Why then Dame Margaret was ne'er thy joy. Erect his statue and worship it, and make my image but an alehouse sign. Was I for this nigh racked upon the sea, and twice by awkward wind from England's bank drove back again unto my native clime? What boded this but well for warning wind did seem to say, seek not a scorpion's nest, nor set no footing on this unkind shore. The pretty vaulting sea refused to drown me, knowing that thou wouldst have me drowned on shore with tears as salt as sea through thy unkindness. When from thy shore the tempest beat us back, I stood upon the hatches in the storm. And when the dusky sky began to rob my earnest gaping sight of thy land's view, I took a costly jewel from my neck. A heart it was, bound in with diamonds, and threw it towards thy land. The sea received it. And so I wished thy body might my heart. Ay me, I can no more. Die, Margaret, for Henry weeps that thou dost live so long.
It is reported, mighty sovereign, that good Duke Humphery traitorously is murdered by Suffolk and the Cardinal Beaufort's means. The commons, like an angry hive of bees that want their leader, scatter up and down and care not who they sting in his revenge. Myself have calmed their spleenful mutiny until they hear the order of his death.
That he is dead, good Warwick, 'tis too true. But how he died, God knows, not Henry. Enter his chamber, view his breathless corpse, and comment then upon his sudden death.
That shall I do, my liege.
O thou that judgest all things, stay my thoughts that labor to persuade my soul some violent hands were laid on Humphrey's life. If my suspect be false, forgive me, God, for judgment only doth belong to thee. Fain would I go to chafe his paly lips with 20,000 kisses, and to drain upon his face an ocean of salt tears, to tell my love into his dumb, deaf trunk, and with my fingers feel his hand unfeeling. But all in vain are these mean obsequies, and to survey his dead and earthy image, what were it but to make my sorrow greater?
Come hither, gracious sovereign. View this body.
That is to see how deep my grave is made, for with his soul fled all my worldly solace, for seeing him, I see my life in death.
I do believe that violent hands were laid upon the life of this thrice-famed
A
duke.
dreadful oath, sworn with a solemn tongue. What instance gives Lady Warwick for her vow?
See how the blood is settled in his face. His eyeballs further out than when he lived, staring full ghastly like a strangled man. His hands abroad displayed as one that grasped and tugged for life and was by strength subdued. It cannot be, but he was murdered here.
Why, Warwick, who should do the Duke to death? Myself and Beaufort had him in protection, and we, I hope, are no murderers.
But both of you were vowed Duke Humphrey's foes, and you, forsooth, had the good Duke to keep. 'Tis like you would not feast him like a friend, and 'tis well seen he found an enemy.
Then you belike suspect these noblemen as guilty of Duke Humphrey's timeless death?
Who finds the heifer dead and bleeding fresh, and sees fast by a butcher with an axe, but will suspect 'twas he that made the slaughter?
Are you the butcher, Suffolk? Where's your knife?
I wear no knife to slaughter sleeping men, but here's a vengeful sword, rusted with ease, that shall be scoured in the rancorous heart that slanders me with murder's crimson badge. Say, if thou darest, proud lady of Warwickshire, that I am faulty in Duke Humphrey's death.
What dares not Warwick if false Suffolk dare her?
She dares not calm her contumelious spirit, nor cease to be an arrogant controller, though Suffolk dare her 20,000 times.
Madam, be still! With reverence, may I say, for every word you speak in his behalf is slander to your royal dignity.
Thou shalt be waking while I shed thy blood, if from this presence thou darest go with me.
Away even now, or I will drag thee hence. Unworthy though thou art, I'll cope with thee, and do some service to Duke Humphrey's ghost.
What stronger breastplate than a heart untainted? Thrice is he armed that hath his quarrel just, and he but naked, though locked up in steel, whose conscience with injustice is corrupted.
What What is this?
How now, lords? Your wrathful weapons drawn here in our presence. Dare you be so bold? What tumultuous clamor have we here?
The traitorous Warwick, with the folk of Barry, set all upon me, mighty sovereign.
Dread lord, the commons send you word by me, unless Lord Suffolk straight be done to death, or banished fair England's territories, they will by violence tear him from your palace and torture him with grievous, lingering death. They say by him the good Duke Humphery died. They say in him they fear your highness' death. They say in care of your most royal person, that they will guard you, where you will or no, from such fell serpents as false Suffolk is, with whose envenomed and fatal sting your loving uncle, 20 times his worth, they say, is shamefully bereft of life.
An answer from the king!
'Tis like the commons, rude, unpolished hinds, could send such message to their sovereign.
An answer from the king! We shall begin!
Go, my lord Scales, and tell them all from me I thank them for their tender loving care. And had I not been cited so by them, yet did I purpose as they do entreat. For sure, my thoughts do hourly prophesy mischance unto my state by Suffolk's means. And therefore by his majesty I swear, whose far and worthy deputy I am, he shall not breathe infection in this air but 3 days longer on the pain of death.
Oh, Henry, let me plead for gentle Suffolk.
Ungentle queen, to call him gentle Suffolk! No more, I say! If thou dost plead for him, thou wilt but add increase unto my wrath. Had I but said, I would have kept my word, but when I swear, it is irrevocable. If, after 3 days' space, thou here be'st found on any ground that I am ruler of, the world shall not be ransom for thy life. Come, Warwick, come. Good Warwick, go with me. I have great matters to impart to thee.
Mischance and sorrow go along with you. Heart's discontent and sour affliction be playfellows to keep you company. There's 2 of you, the devil make a 3rd, and 3-fold vengeance tend upon your steps!
Cease, gentle queen, these execrations, and let thy Suffolk take his heavy leave.
Hast thou not spirit to curse thine enemies?
A plague upon them! Wherefore should I curse them? Could curses kill, as doth the mandrake's groan, I would invent as bitter searching terms, as cursed, as harsh and horrible to hear, delivered strongly through my fixed teeth. My tongue should stumble in mine earnest words, mine eyes should sparkle like the beaten flint. Aye, every joint should seem to curse and ban, and even now my burdened heart would break. Should I not curse them? Poison be their drink. Gall! Worse than gall, the daintiest that they taste. All the foul terrors in dark-seated hell.
Enough, sweet Suffolk, thou torment'st thyself. And these dread curses, like the sun against glass, or like an overcharged gun, recoil, and turn the force of them upon thyself.
You bade me ban, and will you bid me leave? Now, by the ground that I am banished from, well could I curse away a winter's night, though standing naked on a mountain top where biting cold would never let grass grow, and think it but a minute spent in sport.
Oh, let me entreat thee, cease. Give me thy hand, that I may dew it with my mournful tears. Nor let the rain of heaven wet this place to wash away my woeful monuments. Oh, could this kiss be printed in thy hand, that thou mightst think upon these by the seal, through whom 1,000 sighs are breathed for thee. I will repel thee, or be well assured adventure to be banished myself, and banished I am, if but from thee. Go, speak not to me, even now be gone. Oh, go not yet. Even thus, 2 friends condemned, embrace and kiss, and take 10,000 leaves, loather 100 times to part than die. Yet now farewell, and farewell life with thee.
Thus is poor Suffolk 10 times banished, once by the king, and 3 times thrice by thee. 'Tis not the land I care for, wert thou thence. A wilderness is populous enough, so Suffolk had thy heavenly company. For where thou art, there is the world itself, with every several pleasure in the world, and where thou art not, desolation. I can no more. Live thou to joy thy life. Myself no joy in naught, but that thou livest.
Whither goes Vox so fast? What news, I prithee?
To signify unto his majesty that Cardinal Beaufort is at point of death. For suddenly a grievous sickness took him that makes him gasp and stare and catch the air, blaspheming God and cursing us on earth. And I am sent to tell his majesty that even now he cries aloud for him.
Go, tell this heavy message to the king. I mean, what is this world? What news are these? But wherefore grieve I at an hour's poor loss, omitting Suffolk's exile, my soul's treasure? Now get thee hence. The king, thou know'st, is coming. If thou be found by me, thou art but dead.
If I depart from thee, I cannot live, and in thy sight to die, what were it else? But like a pleasant slumber in thy lap. Here could I breathe my soul into the air, as mild and gentle as the cradle babe, dying with mother's dug between its lips, where, from thy sight, I should be raging mad, and cry out for thee to close up mine eyes, to have thee with thy lips, to stop my mouth. To die by thee were but to die in jest. From thee to die were torture more than death. Oh, let me stay, befall what may befall.
Though parting be a fretful corrosive, it is applied to a deathful wound. To France, sweet Suffolk, let me hear from thee. For wheresoe'er thou art in this world's globe, I'll have an iris that shall find thee out.
I go.
And take my heart with thee.
A jewel locked into the woefulest cask that ever did contain a thing of worth. E'en as a splitted bark, so sunder we. This way fall I to death.
This way for me.
How fares my lord? Speak, Beaufort, to thy sovereign.
If thou beest death, I'll give thee England's treasure, enough to purchase such another island, so thou would let me live and feel no pain.
Ah, what a sign it is of evil life, where death's approach is seen so terrible.
Beaufort, it is thy sovereign speaks to thee.
Died he not in his bed? Where should he die? Can I make men live where they will or no? Oh, torture me no more. I will confess.
Oh, thou eternal mover of the heavens, look with a gentle eye upon this wretch, and from his bosom purge this grim despair.
See how the pangs of death do make him grin.
Peace to his soul, if God's good pleasure be. Lord Cardinal, if thou think'st on heaven's bliss, hold up thy hand, make signal of thy hope. Ah, he dies and makes no sign. Oh, God, forgive him.
So bad a death argues a monstrous life.
Forbear to judge, for we are sinners all. Close up his eyes and draw the curtain close, and let us all to meditation.
I laugh not at another's loss. I grudge not at another's gain. No worldly waves my mind can toss. I brook not that's another's bane. I fear no foe. I force no friend. I loathe no dread no end.
The loss of French lands and resulting taxes have raised the ire of the common people. Suffolk attempts to secretly flee from London, but is chased by angry citizens. In disguise, he sets sail for his sentence of banishment. In the Straits of Dover, his ship is intercepted and Suffolk is captured.
Gaudy, babbling, and remorseful day is crept into the bosom of the sea. Therefore, bring forth the soldiers of our prize. Here shall they make their ransom on the sand, or with their blood stain this discolored shore. Captain, this prisoner freely give I thee. The other, Water Whitmore, is thy share.
What is my ransom, Captain? Let me know.
1,000 crowns, or else lay down your head.
I'll give it, sir, and therefore spare my life.
Cut both the villains' throats, for die you shall. I lost mine eye in laying the prize aboard, and therefore to revenge it shalt thou die.
Oh, be not so rash. Take ransom. Let him live.
Look on my George. I am a gentleman. Rate me at what thou wilt. Thou shalt be paid.
My name is Water Whitmore. How now? Why start'st thou? What doth death affright?
Thy name affrights me, in whose sound is death. A cunning man did calculate my birth, and told me that by water I should die. Yet let not this make thee be bloody-minded. Thy name is Warda, being rightly sounded.
Warda or water, what it is, I care not. Never yet did base dishonor blur our name, but with our sword we wiped away the blot.
Stay, Whitmore, for thy prisoner is a prince, the Duke of Suffolk, William de la Pole.
The Duke of Suffolk, muffled up in rags.
Aye, but these rags are no part of the Duke. Jove sometimes went disguised, and why not I?
But Jove was never slain, as thou shalt be.
Obscure and lousy swain. King Henry's blood, the honorable blood of Lancaster, must not be shed by such a jaded groom.
Speak, Captain. Shall I stab the forlorn swain?
First, let my words stab him, as he hath me.
Beast rogue, thy words are blunt, and so art thou.
Convey him hence. Strike off his head.
Thou darest not for thy own.
Yes, Poole.
Pole!
Poole! Sir Poole, Lord, I, kennel, puddle, sink, whose filth and dirt troubles the silver spring where England drinks. Thy lips that kiss the queen shall sweep the ground, and thou that smiledest at good Duke Humphery's death against the senseless winds shall grin in vain, who in contempt shall hiss at thee again. And now the house of York, thrust from the crown by shameful murder of a guiltless king, burns with revenging fire, whose hopeful colors advance our half-faced sun, striving to shine. The commons here in Kent are up in arms. And to conclude, reproach and beggary is crept into the palace of our king, and all by thee. Away, convey him hence.
It is impossible that I should die by such a lowly vassal as thyself. Thy words move rage, and not remorse in me. I go of message from the Queen to France. I charge thee, waft me safely across the channel.
Come, Suffolk, I must waft thee to thy death.
My gracious lord, entreat her, speak her fair.
Suffolk's imperial tongue is stern and rough, used to command, untaught to plead for favor. Far be it we should honor such as these with humble suit. No, rather let my head stoop to the block than these knees bow to any save to the God of heaven and to my king. True nobility is exempt from fear. More can I bear than you dare execute.
Hale him away, and let him talk no more.
There let his head and lifeless body lie until the queen, his mistress, bury it.
Oh, barbarous and bloody spectacle! His body will I bear unto the king. If he revenge it not, yet will his friends, so will the queen, that living held him dear.
Public anger grows. Bands of citizens arm themselves and gather across Kent. Urged on by the Duke of York, their leader Jack Cade claims to be a Mortimer and thus heir to the crown. The rebels gather in Blackheath, and King Henry sends William and Humphrey Stafford with 400 troops to squash the rebellion.
I tell thee, Jackade the Clothier means to dress the Commonwealth and turn it and set a new nap upon it.
So he had need for 'tis threadbare. Well, I say it was never merry world in England since gentlemen came up.
Oh, miserable age! Virtue is not regarded in handicraftsmen.
True, and yet it is said labor in thy vocation, which is as much to say as let the magistrates be laboring folk, and therefore should we be magistrates.
Thou hast hit it, for there's no better sign of a brave mind than a hard hand.
I see them! I see them! There's Dick the Butcher!
Then is sin struck down like an ox, and iniquity's throat cut like a calf.
And Smith the Weaver!
Argo, their thread of life is spun.
Come, let's fall in with them.
We, John Cade, so termed of our supposed father.
Or rather of stealing a cade of herrings.
For our enemies shall fall before us, inspired with the spirit of putting down kings and princes. Command! Silence!
Silence!
My father was a Mortimer.
He was an honest man and a good bricklayer.
My mother a Plantagenet.
I knew her well. She was a midwife.
My wife descended of the Lacys.
She was indeed a peddler's daughter and sold many laces.
Therefore, am I of an honorable house.
Aye, by my faith, the failed is honorable, and there was he born under a hedge, for his father had never a house but the cage.
Valiant I am.
He must needs for beggary is valiant.
I fear neither sword nor fire.
But methinks he should stand in fear of fire, being burnt in the hand for stealing of sheep.
Be brave, then, for your captain is brave and vows reformation. There shall be in England 7 halfpenny loaves sold for a penny. And I will make it felony to drink small beer. All the realm shall be in common, and when I am king, as king I will be.
God save your majesty! God save your majesty!
Thank you, good people. There shall be no money.
No money.
All shall eat and drink on my score. And I will appair them all in one livery, that they may agree like kindred and worship me, their lord.
The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers!
Kill the lawyers! Kill the lawyers!
Nay, that I mean
Kill
to do.
the lawyers!
How now, who's there?
The clerk of Charlene. He can write and read and cast a cow.
Oh, monstrous.
Has a book in his pocket with red letters in it.
Nay, then he is a conjurer.
Nay, he can make obligations and write court hands.
I am sorry for it. The man is a proper man of mine honor. Unless I find him guilty, he shall not die. Come hither, sirrah. I must examine thee. What is thy name?
Emmanuel?
Dost thou use to write thy name, or hast thou a mark to thyself like an honest, plain-dealing man?
Sir, I thank God I have been so well brought up that I can write my name.
He hath confessed!
Away with him, I say! Hang him with his pen and inkhorn about his neck!
Fly! Sir Humphrey Stafford and his brother are hard by with the king's forces.
Stand, villain! Stand, or I'll fell thee down. He shall be encountered with a man as good as himself. He is but a knight, is he?
Nothing more.
To equal him, I will make myself a knight presently. Rise up, Sir John Mortimer. Now, have at him.
Rebellious hinds, the filth and scum of Kent, marked for the gallows, lay your weapons down. The king is merciful if you return.
But angry, wrathful, and inclined to blood if you go forward. Therefore, yield or die.
As for these silken-coated knaves, I pass not. It is to you, good people, that I speak, over whom, in time to come, I hope to reign, for I am rightful heir unto the crown.
Villain, thy father was a plasterer, and thou thyself a shearman, art thou not?
And Adam was a gardener.
And what of that?
Marry, this. Edmund Mortimer, Earl of March, married the Duke of Clarence's daughter, did he not?
Aye, sir?
By her he had 2 children at one birth.
What
That's false!
Aye, there's the question. But I say, 'tis true. The elder of them, being put to nurse, was by a beggar woman stolen away, and ignorant of his birth and parentage, became a bricklayer when he came to age. His son am I. Deny it if you can.
Nay, 'tis too true. Therefore he shall be king!
Sir, he made a chimney in my father's house, and the bricks are alive at this day to testify it. Therefore deny it not!
And will you credit this base drudge's words that speaks he knows not what?
Aye, marry, will we?
Therefore get you down!
No, Jack Cade, the Duke of York, has taught you this.
He lies, for I invented it myself. Go to, sirrah. Tell the king from me that for his father's sake, Henry V,
Crispin's Day!
My brother!
in whose time boys went to span counter for French crowns, I am content he shall reign, but I'll be protector over him.
And furthermore, we'll have the Lady Say's head for selling the dukedom of Maine!
Fellow kings, I tell you that Lady Say hath gelded the Commonwealth and made it an eunuch. And more than that, she can speak French. And therefore, she is a traitor!
Well, seeing gentle words will not prevail, assail them with the army of the king!
Proclaim them traitors that are up with Cade, that those which fly before the battle ends may, even in their wives' and children's sight, be hanged up for example at their doors. And you that be the king's friends, follow me.
And you that love the commons, follow me! 'Tis for liberty! Where's Dick, the butcher of Ashford?
Here, sir!
They fell before thee like sheep and oxen, and thou behavest thyself as if thou hadst been in thine own slaughterhouse. The bodies shall be dragged at my horse heels till I do come to London, where we will have the mayor's sword borne before us.
If we mean to thrive and do good, break open the jails and let out the prisoners.
Fear not that, I warrant thee. Come, let's march towards London!
The number of Cade's followers swells as they march towards London. In Parliament, King Henry and his council debate how to respond to this crisis. Suffolk's decapitated head has been delivered to the palace to serve as a warning to the aristocracy.
Oft have I heard that grief softens the mind and makes it fearful and degenerate. Think, therefore, on revenge and cease to weep. But who can cease to weep and look on this? Here may his head lie on my throbbing breast. But where's the body that I should embrace?
What answer makes your grace to the rebels' supplication?
I'll send some holy bishop to entreat, for God forbid so many simple souls should perish by the sword. And I myself, rather than bloody war shall cut them short, will parley with Jack Cade, their general.
Ah, barbarous villains, hath this lovely face ruled like a wandering planet over me? And could it not enforce them to relent that were unworthy to behold the same?
Lady Say, Jack Cade hath sworn to have thy head.
Aye, but I hope your highness shall have his.
How now? What news? Why comest thou in such haste?
The rebels are in Suffolk. Fly, my lord. Jack Cade proclaims himself Lord Mortimer and calls your grace usurper openly and vows to crown himself in Westminster. His army is a ragged multitude of hinds and peasants, rude and merciless. All scholars, lawyers, courtiers, gentlemen, they call false caterpillars and intend their death.
Oh, graceless fools, they know not what they do.
My gracious lord, retire to Killingworth until a power be raised to put them down.
Were the Duke of Suffolk now alive, these Kentish rebels would be soon appeased.
Lady Say, the traitors hateth thee, therefore away with us to Killingworth.
So might your grace's person be in danger. The sight of me is odious in their eyes, and therefore in this city will I stay and live alone as secret as I may.
Jack Cade hath gotten London Bridge. The rascal people, thirsting after prey, join with the traitor, and they jointly swear to spoil the city and your royal court.
Then linger not, my lord. Away, take horse.
Farewell, my lady. Trust not the Kentish rebels.
Trust nobody for fear you be betrayed.
The trust I have is in mine innocence, and therefore am I bold and resolute.
Come, Margaret. God, our hope, will succor us.
My hope is gone, now Suffolk is deceased.
How now, madam? Still lamenting and mourning for Suffolk's death. I fear me, love, if that I had been dead, thou wouldst not have mourned so much for me.
No, my love. I should not mourn, but die for thee.
You've been listening to Shakespeare's Histories, Season 2, The Queen's Storm, presented by Brave Spirits Theater, directed by Charlene V. Smith. This recording is produced and edited by Patrick Flynn.